AI is kind of changing everything, in every industry. What about HR industry?
AI is not your HR partner.
Have you learned anything from your business that you successfully applied in your personal life?
I think one of the things I always learned at the business side is the better you take care of people.
Live like a CEO.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Live Like a CEO. You know that in this podcast we invite CEOs and founders and C-section executives to talk about their personal life, their business life, their pretty much everything related to their business. So without further delay, let me introduce Neil Katz. He is CEO and founder of Exceptional HR Solutions. So definitely we are going to learn more about Neil's personal life, business life, HR and everything. So Neil, welcome to our podcast.
Raju, thank you so much for having me today. I'm excited to be here and I look forward to chatting with you today.
Perfect. So, before we go deep into our topic for discussion today, can you please tell us who is your ideal client, what service you provide, and how to find you?
Sure. So our ideal client are small to medium-sized companies across all industries throughout the United States. And really, it's companies that are between 5 and 500 employees. And really, the best way to find me is either on LinkedIn or you're welcome to join me on my website at exceptionalhrsolutions.com. You can connect with me, ask me a question, send me a note, or just if you want to connect and have a short conversation, let me know. I'm here to support.
Perfect. Dear audience, if you need any help regarding HR, please reach out to Neil. We are going to put Neil's name, email address, phone number, website, everything on the screen. So feel free to directly reach out to him. He will be able to take care of your HR-related need. So Neil, now it's question about you. Not a lot of people are entrepreneur. A lot of people, they like to work in corporate world and other places. So what made you an entrepreneur?
That's a great question. I'm not really sure what made me an entrepreneur. I think I had worked in corporate America for so long. I'd always been helping people on the side. And then it was about 19 years ago, I started helping people. And then all of a sudden, people started paying me for this service. And I realized I'm like, I have something here. And with the loving support of my wife, she's like, you know what? Maybe it's time for you to start your own business. And I thought long and hard, and I decided to take the leap of faith. And that was over 5 years ago to go full time in my own business. And now I have a team of 22 people growing and scaling HR services throughout the United States.
Perfect. So you worked in a corporate America and then you started your own business. So you saw the both worlds. So what would be your recommend? What kind of people should go for corporate America and what kind of people should go for entrepreneurship?
I think if you have a great idea, you have a great concept, you have a great service offering, you have a great product, I think you should consider entrepreneurship. But one of the things I would love to do here on your podcast and really to ensure is make sure people understand what entrepreneurship is. You see all these great things in social media. I started a business and I exited 600 million. I sold it for $1 billion. What you're not seeing is the 95% of people that failed. That what it comes down to, and I was talking to another entrepreneur yesterday on a Sunday, because you know what entrepreneurship is? 7 days a week. It's 24/7. It is truly 60, 70, 80-hour weeks. You never turn it off. You're always in that mode, in that context. And then the questions are you really willing to learn how to run a business, lead a team, and everything from onboarding, contracts, legal, sales, marketing, all the other components of it. So what I tell people is you need to be ready to recognize it's a lot of work. It is not a lifestyle. It's just a lot of work. And the reality is many, many, many entrepreneurs fail. And it's not because of effort. It's just because of competencies and skills. And what I'll tell people is corporate America is stable, guaranteed. You're going to continue to get a check every 2 weeks. Entrepreneurship's not. And it's a lot of highs and lows. If you're willing to put in a ton of effort, a ton of energy and passion, do I think you can get there? Yes. But I caution our listeners to be very careful and recognize the journey is very challenging. I've been at it for 5 years, and we're just starting to see the beginning of the success we think we can have.
Perfect. But yeah, those are very truth, and a lot of people, when they start their first business, they follow like all these stories, like starting from the garage, and then in reality it's totally different. Thank you very much for telling all this truth. So Neil, a lot of entrepreneurs, parents, they would like their kids to start some sort of business, like it can be like a fun project in the summertime kind of thing. So what do you recommend, like how early parents should encourage their kids to start their first LLC or business? Is it like a high school, middle school, college, or even later?
I think I would definitely say they should start doing some things on the side in middle school, cutting grass, babysitting, supporting the community. My younger daughter, she helps with dog care, some of the dog care in the neighborhood. Some of those things, I think it teaches them the value of hard work, dedication, timetables, interacting with different people. But I think in high school and college, absolutely, if you're ready to start an LLC and experiment and learn and explore and understand, it's a great opportunity to do. And I think it's a great time to do that. And I think, look, turn to the experts to help you. Listen to tons of podcasts like this and others. You can learn so much. And with the resources of AI today, it's amazing the ability of what you have to be successful. But look, explore and experiment. And even if it says as a side hustle, it's a great revenue stream for these young folks coming through high school and into college and beyond to create an additional revenue stream beyond maybe a corporate job they might have.
Perfect. Yeah. And so now going back to, your day-to-day, practice as a CEO and founder. So, clients, sometimes they say something, but they mean something else. They have something in their mind, but they don't say that. Do you have any like a very personal method of understanding what your client wants?
I think the key is the best thing to understand what a client wants is you need to be a good listener, and you need to listen, and you need to hear, and you also need to speak truth. I had a client earlier today I was talking to, and I had to give that client some news that I don't think they wanted to hear, but they needed to hear it. And the key is getting them to understand why they need to hear it, be empathetic and supportive, but they needed to hear the truth. And I think so many times consultants and advisors are somewhat reluctant to share that truth. But I think the key is share the truth, be honest with them, and then listen. Listen to what they're saying, but listen to what they're not saying. Watch for voids, watch for gaps, because there's a lot being not said. And if you can listen and pick those things up and ask very thought-provoking questions, you'll be able to dig in much deeper than most.
Yes, very, very powerful. So even following all those things, have you ever experienced something like that? Let's say one of your clients, he or she is really not happy with you. And how did you handle that situation?
Absolutely. It happens when you're dealing with clients and this client group size that we're serving over 55 clients today and growing. Mm-hmm. And when you have that many clients, you're going to have where you're not hearing them, listening. And the key is this: own it, apologize for it, fix it, and ensure you don't have it happen twice. And that's the real key, is you need to own it. Too many times people will point fingers and blame something or somebody or whatever it may be. Own it. And as I say, it's very simple as a CEO founder. It is all my responsibility, period. Whether I did it or not, it's all my responsibility. And I take full accountability for my entire team, and I always will. And the key is own it, fix it, resolve it, and ensure it doesn't happen twice.
Perfect. And, AI is kind of changing everything, in every industry. What about HR industry?
AI is going to impact every one of us. In HR, what we're seeing more and more now, and you'll see some of my social media posts around this, is AI is not your HR partner. It's a tool, it's a resource. But one of the things AI still has not solved today, and I'm not sure it will anytime in the near future, is the wisdom and experiences of those nuances. AI, you ask questions, you tell it to do things, it does what you tell. But if you don't have the depth of knowledge, the experience, the wisdom, the example I'll give is I have a team of, 22, we have 450 years combined experience. Yeah. AI doesn't have the experience, it has answers. But if you don't ask the right questions, you get the wrong answers. Mm-hmm. So where I think AI is a phenomenal tool, and what it's doing is automating a lot of the tactical, repetitive workflows, there is still a great value in the human, and the human will always have a great value in the workplace dealing with people.
Yes. Thank you, Neil. It is really nice talking to you, and we'll deep digger into your personal life and other thing. But before that, we are going to take a very short break, like 30 seconds. Please stay with us, dear audience. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Live like a CEO.
Starting a podcast or looking to make yours more powerful? Make sure it's heard, not lost in the noise. Managing recording, editing, publishing, and promotion can be overwhelming. That's where Kulna Technologies' 360-degree podcast service comes in. We handle everything from recording to producing to publishing, so your podcast always sounds top tier. You focus on the message, while we repurpose, stream, and promote it across every platform. Want a true 360-degree podcast service without the tech stress? Launch your podcast with Kulna Tech today and let your voice reach the world.
Live like a CEO.
Welcome back after our short break. So we are talking with Neil Katz. He is the founder and CEO of Exceptional HR Solution, and we talking about HR and AI and other things. So now we'll talk more into his personal life. So Neil, please tell us, do you have any personal hobby that really helps you in your business?
Yeah, I would say my personal hobby since I started my business 5 years ago is my business. A little bit of a joke there, but the reality is when you're building a business, you don't have a lot of personal hobbies. You really don't. You spend a lot of time investing in your business. One of the hobbies I'm looking to get into is to become an airline, or not an airline, but an airplane pilot. I've always wanted to become a pilot, and I'm hoping this year to begin the journey of starting to study and practice and do some of those solo test flights and some of those experiences. So that's going to be what I hope to achieve in 2026.
Awesome. Yeah. Hope for the best. I wish you all the success in flying planes.
Thank you.
So, do you do anything? Let me say that in a different way. What is the very first thing that you do just immediately getting up from the bed in the morning?
Very first thing I do is go to my phone and look at what happened overnight. It's the first thing I do every single day. I check to see what happened. I see if there's any urgent or emergent issues, either for my employees, my clients, in the industry as a general, any shifts or changes we need to do. But number one thing is always first thing to the phone.
Awesome. You're a very workaholic kind of person, I guess.
It's part of being in the business. I hope to be able to, I don't want to say step back, but elevate myself over the next year to 2 years and really do things a little bit differently. But right now we're just in a rapid growth phase and we're looking to continue to grow and expand. And when you're doing that, you got to invest into the business.
Yeah, of course. I 100% agree with you. And what is the very last thing you do before you go to bed?
Believe it or not, the same thing. I check the phone, make sure I didn't miss anything, make sure nothing came in at 10, 11 o'clock at night. And the last thing I do is put the phone on the charger. Now, the one thing I will say I'm very good about is my phone is not in my bedroom.
Perfect.
It is in an office that's far away. So truly, I do not see it at night. I do not wake up in the middle of the night. I don't check it in the middle of the evening. All I do is before I go to bed and when I wake up in the morning, that's the first thing I do. And then I can conclude with the rest of my day, checking in on the family, supporting the animals, the kids, the wife. All of those components are right behind the phone.
Perfect. So, in business world, there's two kinds of people. One, they call it work-life balance. They try to keep it separate from each other. And another group of people, they call it work-life harmony. They kind of like mix and match. So which group you belong and why?
I would absolutely, you say it as work-life harmony. We call it work-life integration. So the ability to integrate the two together, because there's times, look, I have to work. There's times I need to be with the family. I was just in Atlanta last week for my youngest daughter. She's in a competitive cheer. So that ability to sit in a different city for 4 days and support her and be with her, and then at night or first thing in the morning, get caught up on work and email, but I was able to spend time with her. But vice versa, tonight I'll be at the computer probably until 9 o'clock at night, trying to get caught up on some different initiatives that need to be completed. So to me, it's an ebb and flow and a give and take. And there's times you're going to be doing one more than another. What you don't want to do is just work. You need to have both aspects of it. And for me, the integration where you integrate the two together into because what work-life balance to me is when you balance one thing has to give to get to another. And it's almost impossible to have that because both personal and professional, those things collide at times. And we have to recognize that sometimes you have to give more to one than another.
Yeah, very true, very true. And so, have you ever learned anything from your personal life, from your family, that you successfully applied in your business life?
I think the best thing I've learned, and the lady that's taught me the best is my wife, is the ability to hear the hard truth. She is exceptional. She doesn't have to worry about getting written up, terminated, fired, or any of that. She's my wife, and she will always be my wife. And what I will tell you is she tells me at times what I don't think I want to hear, but I need to hear. And if you can have somebody in your professional life like that really will be honest and candid in the best interest of you and your company, it's priceless. And that's truly the partnership that a lot of founders and CEOs and other executives struggle to find, is that person that will say what needs to be said, even though it might not be well received.
That is true. That's true. Now, the opposite question, have you learned anything from your business that you successfully applied in your personal life?
I would say for me, I think one of the things I always learned at the business side is the better you take care of people, whether it be employees or clients, the better they're engaged, the more you get to know them as people, not just clients or customers, but people. And because of that, it's helped me continue to remember to invest into people outside of work, to get to get to know them on a personal level, to engage with them, to find out what's important to them. And when you can understand it from that perspective and you really are starting to connect at a deeper level, the value is tremendous.
Perfect. Yeah, very true. We are almost end of this podcast. So this is my last question to you. Initially, you said it's very difficult to be an entrepreneur. So please give our audience 3 tips to be a very successful entrepreneur.
You got to be willing to work hard. I mean a lot, very, very, very hard. 2, you got to know when to bring in additional resources to help you. And fractional, which is what we do, but not just HR, fractional anything. Fractional is a phenomenal resource when you're growing a business. Bring in experts. And then last thing is have an insatiable appetite to learn, whether it be learning website design, SEO, accounting, bookkeeping. Learn. I don't ask you to be an expert, but learn and be inquisitive, because the more you learn, the better you are as a leader, the better you are at running your organization and your company.
Perfect. Those are very powerful tips. Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Neil, for joining this podcast. You have a wonderful day.
Raju, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Live like a CEO.